Hello there, well it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee and yes, this is some of the fabric that I got from Walthamstow. So I bought 3 metres of it. I've already made a top out of it and a dress, a little dress, I know. But for the last bit I am going to make dun 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 yoga trousers. So yeah, baggy, and then they've got that sweeping fabric there. The reason I'm making this is because it's going to be hot in Egypt. Yeah, okay. So I'm making really baggy. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to get my leg pattern, as it were, which is pretty much that shape. And I am going to enlarge, sorry, I'm going to have to say it, I'm going to enlarge the crotch down, straight down, literally follow the line of the cloth, and then I'm going to do it like that. So it's going to be twice as wide as it was, and the back panel is going to be a lot longer. And this is like the coolest temperature wise way to wear trousers, because it doesn't really touch your skin. Now for the waistband I am going to literally sew that sort of shape, so it's going to be shorter at the top than the bottom, and this is completely stretch fabric, so we'll be discussing how to sew this sort of fabric and how to deal with its stretchiness. Okay, alright, well I'll be back with my piece cut out. Obviously we'll also have to worry about pattern matching. Whoa, my favourite word. I'll be back. Hello there, Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Okay, so non-related sewing news. My friend has had her baby, so I should concentrate a bit more. I know. They take so long to make, don't they? Oh well. Okay, so we are making the yoga trousers. They're all cut out now. I'm just trying to grab the pieces together. I think I'll start with the legs. That's how I normally do trousers or pants, depending on where you are. I'm going to use the overlocker. The overlocker is the only sort of machine you should be really doing these sort of stretch jerseys with, just because that's what they're designed to do. So as you can see, I've got a low crotch and baggy legs and everything else like that. So I'm sewing up the leg, and then I'm going to sew the other leg up, and then I'm going to sew the 2 legs together. Now at the moment there's no definition between top, front and back, so I'm using the overlocker cutter just to trim the edges, because if it's not easy to sew then it's not going to be easy to cut. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking the point of the 2, I'm not holding it stretched, but I'm holding it taut so they finish at the same time, because even though there's a gripper foot on the top, it doesn't seem to catch as well as the gripper foot on the bottom. And some of it is to do with the tension of the machine, but I'm just going to get it done. So they're together and they're staying together. Okay, going to do the same again, both right side to right side, and then I am literally running it through the overlocker. And it's going to take shape quite quickly. I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether to do elasticated ankles, because I must admit I don't like it, but then if you're in a situation where you've got jumpy flies, then they're a bit of a lifesaver. So what I'm going to do is just similar to the waistband, not quite as thick. I'm going to put a little rim round so that that's done. Okay, I'm just coming up to the point of, yes, the top of the legs, which is nowhere near the actual top of the legs. So let's just do a few stitches so we can get that off, and then it's a matter of sewing the two together. Yeah, these yoga trousers, I think they're also called parachute pants, but don't hold me to that because I might be wrong. And then we've got the two legs. Important to make the seams match up. And then we just literally put them together. Okay, as with always, don't sew till you're 100% happy, and you know, there's a lot to be said for that, because I think sometimes when you know that something's going to go wrong, you kind of go, oh, thought that would happen. So now, to make them as comfy as possible, it's best to get the seams to meet up. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a seam in both hands, and I'm going to hold it straight so that they do meet up. Now with this fabric as well, if you do stretch it, then it sort of curls round on itself, so you do have to watch it. And now I've got the 2 points of the waistband, so you can see that there's a difference there. I'm going to hold it halfway, obviously make sure that I'm not catching anything else. And then I can literally just sew it together. Okay, so the waistband, I would recommend that whoever's going to wear them gets to sort of check that they're the right size. So because you do want them, you don't want them tight is what I was going to say, but you do want them to actually support the weight of the trousers, and the weight's a bit more of an issue with these sort of trousers because, you know, the weight is going to pull them down. So what I'm doing here is I'm joining two strips together, and then I can get the size of the waistband, because it doesn't need to be quite that long, but it does need to be, I'm going to go with about there. So let's see if I can get this trimmed off at the same time as sewing it. I might be able to. I might just have to use a pair of scissors. The cutter doesn't cut this very well either because of it's such lightweight fabric. So that's grand. I've got those done. I'm going to do the waistband next, and then I'm going to come back to the feet. So if I can move that, then we might be able to see what we're doing. Okay, so here are the actual trousers, and you can see the size of the waistband. So absolutely huge. And what we need to do is we need to reduce this waistband down to that side. Now, I can sort of do it so that it's like bias binding and the waistband encompasses the seam, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the waistband. Hello there. Well, that was a tad annoying. The camera stopped whilst I was filming and I didn't notice it. So basically what I've done is I've pinned the waistband half and then half again, so quarters, and I've spaced it out so it's halfway round each of the waistband. Now there's two ways to do it. You can, if you're lucky and you're careful, is stretch the waistband and then sew. Now obviously the fabric's more likely to curl, so you do have to be careful. Or you can kind of push it in. Now it really depends how much you are gathering up. There's a lot to be said. If you're doing a lot, then you push it in. And basically what you do is you take an inch and then you sew a centimetre. So, but because you've got the pins every 8 inches or so, then it makes it a lot clearer of where you're going to actually need the gathers. So, alright. Now, there's things to consider. The weight of the garment pulling on the stitches, that will just make your gathering more difficult, and yeah, curling really. So I'm making sure that I've got both my top of my waistband and my bottom, and I'm doing that every couple of inches or so, and then I'm placing that on top. But we'll see that more clearly when we do the gathering of the foot. So I'm just coming to the end now, and I'm going to just stretch this rather than push in. Just making sure that it's catching. And there we are, we've just got the last bits going in now. Okay, so I'm going to get set up to do the ankle. Or I can get, yeah, I'll get set up for the ankle. So let's get rid of this. Now it is entirely up to you whether you do that with the ankle or not. I must admit I'm going to go for it because I just think that it will make life a lot easier. So there we are, and you can see the gathers, and you can see the bit where I fell off just at the end because I was concentrating again. So we have the bottom of the leg here, and we have the strip for the ankles. Now we need to know that it goes round the heel of the foot, so you know, just take a moment to just double check the size on that. And it's quite good because this means we're going round a good half. So again, we want inside to inside. So I'm folding this the right side out so that I can place it under there, and the two right sides are now joining. So, and I need to find out halfway between the ankle, so I'm going to place the pin in, and then I'm going to take halfway between the leg. So in a way this is more interesting because we're gathering up that much more cloth. And then I have the last bit here, so I'm going to place that under the first pin. Now we have the main ankle bit, and halfway between the ankle band, so halfway again. So you can see that we have this much fabric to take up on that much, and then we just pin it again. So it's very, very simple. And then when we're sewing, we just have to keep an eye on it that we get to the pins at the same time so that the gathers are the same. Now I've put all my pins on the outside, so it should be a bit easier except for the start one. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to get everything set up and get the waistband finished, and I'll probably do one ankle and then come back and do... Hello! Okay, so I've re-threaded the overlocker, and I think I'm going to put the overlocker away till I can get it serviced. I know! Well, it takes the fun out of it if you've got to re-thread it every, well, 5 stitches. Okay, so here we go. Pin on the seam. So that's the seam of the ankle and the seam of the waist, we're going to call it the waistband, okay? No, I don't want to risk it. I'll move. Yeah, I'll move. That's fine. So now we need the waistband right side out, all the way through, and then I'm going to take it halfway and meet it halfway on the ankle, which is easier to find because it's just you hold it up and then you can place it there. I'm going to put the pin on the trouser side, and then I'm going to find halfway in between those 2 pins and halfway in between those 2 pins, and again I'm going to pin it from the side of the trousers, and rather than pin the last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing from halfway. So, and I'm going to place the waistband down. Okay, so now I've got it in the machine, I can let go. What I need to do is I need to sew to the pin. Now I can either stretch the waistband and then push in the extra. So for every inch I sew, I'm going to push in half an inch. For every half inch I sew, I'm going to push in half an inch. So, and I'm just going to let the machine take it, and you can see it's picking up extra on the foot, and I have got a slight stretch on the waistband, the ankle band. So when I get to a point where I need to take the pin out, I'm going to take the pin out and then go to the next pin. So, and it is quite important to get these seams all lined up. Now my fingers are going to get very close to the machine. Yeah, just be careful. The cutter is sharp and, you know, it can drag you in. So I'm going to take out the pin. I'm going to keep my hand firmly where it was so that I know when I've got to stop sewing. Now I can still lose the back of the ankle band, so I'm going to try and sew it in, but also what I'm going to do is I'm going to just double check it when I finish sewing and do you know, I'm not going to get too excited about it. If I've missed a piece, then I'm just going to go over it. So, and again, I've got a slight stretch, and I'm pushing the excess through the teeth. Now, the reason it looks so buckled is literally the weight of the garment is pulling it down. Now, that is something you've got to watch. Not on this sew, but if you were trying to get everything straight, then it would be a real problem if, in fact, you were stretching the garment from the weight of the garment hanging down. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end now. I've got this much to get in, and yeah. When you do stretch a fabric though, you've got to be careful that it doesn't roll, and that can happen. So lovely, we're just coming up to the end. Yeah, sorry, it was still attached. I'm just going to sew that off there and trim the excess. So, let's have a look. And like I said, if I have come off, I'm not going to worry about it. And I think I'm okay. I have left the waistband very, very loose. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it on, and if I need to, I will then sew on some excess. So there's my leg and my ankle. Yeah, lovely. And there's the waistband. Okay, so yes, the waistband is huge, and I can simply just thread a bit of string or elastic round there. So, I know. But very comfortable parachute pants, or yoga pants, depending on generation and gender. Alright, so I'm going to get the other ankle done. I'm going to switch the camera off because otherwise it's just going to break the something. Thank you ever so much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a bitty one, and hopefully I'll catch you again. Thank you ever so much.